that y'all are well. Happy Magnetic Monday. Happy Magnetic Monday. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Come on in, come on in. I'm going to send this out real quickly. So come on in, come on in. I hope that y'all are well. Happy Magnetic Monday. We're going to have a conversation. This is probably going to be, I'll be honest, this is probably, I have done a very deep explaining type of live lately. And so I'm going to do one today. And it's based in your feminine rhythm. I love you. Thank you for the likes. It's based in your feminine rhythm, and we're going to talk about it today. Last week, we talked a bit about how society calls you lazy, but they did this so they could not tell you that they were harvesting your energy as a woman. So a lot of these corporate companies and different places that you're working for, they know that women are exhausted. They just don't care. They hired you specifically for a reason. And so today, I'm going to talk about how they stole your rhythm and called it time management. Time management is not a thing. It's really not. It's not even real, to be honest with you. You're not here to manage time. You can't manage time. You cannot manage time. But what you can do is steward time. And so we're going to talk about that today. So we're going to talk quite a bit. I'm going to go a little bit into it. We're going to talk about where this whole time aspect came in. We're going to talk about sacred Ethiopian time, and then we're going to talk about colonial time. Right? We're going to talk about the cloth that they put you on versus the one that you were created in. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is really deep into scripture. So if scripture is not your thing, you may not want to be here. But for those who know me, know that everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. So even if you are not in a space where you are a believer, you absolutely can come into the space of being able to see the science of it. So I personally like scripture. I live by it, principle-wise, so it works for me. But I understand that everything doesn't work for everyone. But as for me and mine, y'all know where I'm at. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about your 2 clocks. We talked a little bit about that last week. We're going to talk about the gaslighting and the system gaslighting and the betrayal. And then we're going to talk about 3 shifts or 3 ways to shift your time starting today as a woman if you struggle in that area. And then I'm going to talk about a solution if you really want to get the full formula on how to be operating in the fullness of yourself in your own rhythm. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly, and then also let me know where you are watching from. But for those who do not know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I am an energetics and identity mentor. And what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients who are visionary women. I mentor visionary women to dissolve invisible ceilings so that they can embody their energetic and their energetic and emotional authority, so that, okay, their wealth, their relationships, and their leadership literally reflects their design. Okay, welcome. Let's see who all is in here. So we have Dallas. Hey Dallas. Hey Memphis. Hey Portland. Shalom. Hey North Carolina. So today we're really going to be diving deep into it, so you might want to get your pens and paper. I have not decided if I'm going to make this public on YouTube or not, or if I'm going to make it private. So you might want to share this with another amazing visionary woman, because this is the only time I'm going to give y'all this depth of information on this topic, because I normally don't go this deep, but I'm going to go ahead and break this down. And of course, if you want the full understanding, I will see you on the 16th at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Rhythmic Woman Masterclass. Okay, so Let's go ahead and get ready to get into it because I don't want to waste any time. I've told you a little bit about me. I've told you a little bit about what I do. Hopefully you will share this with another amazing leader and woman who can get this information, because y'all should be tired of running around here on clocks that don't align with you. And you should be extremely exhausted from trying to perform in a society that sets you up for failure. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. We talked a little bit last week about how they call you lazy so you would never notice that your energy was being harvested. And in that live, I broke down specifically how systematically society has taught you to fight against your cycle because you don't understand the 4 phases of your cycle, and you not understanding the science of yourself is why you get burnt out. Because anything you don't understand, you self-sabotage or you sabotage it. Just like a person who's never been in a really good relationship before and they finally get their first baddie, or they finally get the first man in their life that ever treated them right, and they end up sabotaging the experience. Yeah, same thing, okay? Same thing. So a lot of us don't realize when you don't know your value, when you don't understand the power of a thing, you will misuse that thing. We do it a lot when it comes down to our words. Our words are heavy, our words are weighted, our words are weighty. And even with all of that information and us screaming that there's power of life and death in the tongue, we still walk around here speaking things as if it doesn't matter and like they can't come back and hit us in the face like a boomerang. And that's something that we really need to pay attention to as women. One of the things that I will tell you as a woman that is going to be very important in order for you to thrive, especially now, from starting at this point until 2030. Let's hear me out now. Hear what I'm telling you. Starting right now until 2030, if you want to thrive, there are 3 things you are going to have to do. You need. Number 1, you need to understand spiritual law. That's the only way you're going to be able to create a new reality in the crazy reality and society that you live in. If you don't understand spiritual law, you are already losing the game, because the people over you and the principalities and the dark spaces that are working over you, they understand spiritual law. The issue is that you don't. And they use spiritual law against you and to ascend into all the things that they're wanting to do while doing it on your backs. One of the major ways that they've been able to do that is trick you into believing that if you work so hard, you're going to get this magical life where you have a house, you have all this money, you have this, and you have that. People came to you and told you that that all you have to do is work hard when they never worked hard. I need you to start paying attention literally to how they've been harvesting your energy to fuel their goals, literally taxing on your soul to meet their goals. And if you don't believe that they've been taxing on your soul, I want you to think about, do you go home, or have you ever lost sleep behind a 9 to 5? Have you ever been stressed, or have you ever overthought? Have you ever had anxiety around that? So guess what? They've been taxing on your soul. Thank you, my love, for this follow. To tax on a soul means to tax on the mindset, the heart set, and the willpower. And they use these things to achieve their goals, which slows you down from focusing on your own goals, your own dreams, your own visions, and all of that different type of stuff. And they trick you for a short paycheck. Real short, okay? They never really pay you what you are truly, truly worth. So when you don't do certain things, they call you lazy, when in reality they were hoping that you would notice that they have been harvesting your energy to meet their goals the entire time. And it's not just corporations that do this. This is a spiritual war. This is not necessarily you thinking about people and you thinking too small. You need to think bigger. See, a lot of y'all are thinking about people who sit in these human seats and you think it's small, and you need to think bigger. Because the war is really spiritual. And I wrote a Substack article on that. If you want to go over there and read it, it's called The War is Spiritual and Psychological. It'll give you 3 ways that they are playing on your top in the society today. So anyway, back to number 1. You need to understand spiritual law. Number 2, you need to understand the science of yourself, which is what we're going to dive into today. And I'm going to back it up with scripture. You can go look these things up for yourself, because I am not a fan of telling people stuff. And you just take it. Go look it up for yourself, baby. Go look for yourself. I want you to. That's one of the things my mother always taught me. Don't even take what I'm telling you. Go read it for yourself. Okay? So you need to understand the science of yourself, because the reason why a lot of women are exhausted is because you don't understand that you are supposed to work with your cycle and not against your cycle. You're not supposed to pacify it with pills. You're supposed to be in tune with the 4 phases of your cycle. You are not a moody woman. The reality of the situation is you become 4 different women in 1 month. And if you add your inner child and inner teen into that space, you have about 6 people in a fight every single month. So it's not that you're moody. You're just not in alignment with what is happening on the inside of your body every single phase. But that's because you don't know that. And just think about if you don't know that dynamic information about yourself and the science of yourself, how do you think that you're going to ever have chemistry with the masculine? Huh? You don't understand your own chemistry. But you swear up and down you have chemistry with that man, but you don't know the science of yourself enough to know that you shouldn't have certain conversations during a specific phase of your cycle because you are not well during that time frame. You are not at your best. See, you don't understand and you don't know that there's a part of your cycle where your brain, your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries work together. And when they work together, it's like it sharpens your brain. But see, you don't understand that. You want to take ovulation time and you want to focus on pipe. When you could be getting paper. It makes absolutely no sense, but you swear up and down you don't have what you need. I'm confused. You don't have the proper focus because you don't understand the science of yourself. And when you don't understand the science of yourself, you're not going to understand the science of the masculine. You're not going to understand the science and development of children. And just imagine how many women who don't know themselves get with the masculine, think they have chemistry. Then there's an explosion. And then there's a child in the middle of the explosion, all because you didn't understand the science of yourself. Pay attention and stay long. I got more. Hold tight. So the second thing, if you want to thrive from this point on, at least until 2030, and really for the rest of your life, you need to understand spiritual law. So you can create your reality. You need to understand the science of yourself so that you can understand the dynamics and the science of everything else around you. The third thing that's going to be very important is going to be for you to study your psychology, the psychology of your generational lineage. Specifically, I'm talking about the women. Oh, yes, of course, you go to the doctor and you give a great medical history of all the women in your family and all the illnesses and all the different things that's going on the inside, of your family for years, medical-wise. But why you can't seem to break the curse of low self-esteem that your great-grandmother had, your grandmother had, your mother had, and you now have. See, some of us are not here to build generational wealth. I understand that a lot of you may believe that. That's not everybody's assignment. You have got to figure out what exactly is your assignment and what are the curses within your lineage. But you won't do that unless you study. Oh, but you can't study because you're too busy judging the women that came before you because you think you're better than them. You think because you went to therapy, you think because you have degrees, you think because all of these different things that you are better than the women that came before you. But how about you are still a lemon that comes from a lemon tree? And if you get squeezed a bit, lemon juice is going to come out because pressure builds character, but pressure also reveals character. So the truth of who you are is always going to come outside. This is why it's very important for you to understand the psychology of your lineage so you can close the gaps and fill the voids and the different things that are in those spaces that are going to prevent you from having the future that you truly, truly deserve and desire. But because you won't do that work, because you think you're so much better than them, is why you keep repeating the same time loop of a toxic cycle. This is why you keep attracting the same type of men in different bodies. Because though your mother may have dealt with men who cheated on her, and you felt like that was so disrespectful that you would never deal with a man that cheated on you, you are still dealing with men who disregard, disrespect, and dishonor you in different ways. But you think you're better than your mama. What you have to understand is that we don't do what our parents say. We do what our parents do. And if you don't do your work, if you don't implement something different, you are bound to become one of your parents. And for those who are saying, well, one of my parents is not even there, again, I say, you are bound to become one of your parents, whether they are absent or not. So this is what we have to pay attention to when it comes down to ourselves. If you want to thrive, understanding spiritual law, understanding the science of yourself, studying that generational psychology history of the women in your family, because you are not better than them. They are your elders, they are your ancestors, and they are your lessons. And some of them left doors open that they could not close. And I'm sorry that you are responsible for closing them unless you want your daughter to pick up the tab. And I would hope you wouldn't do that because you love your children, right? Okay, so let's get back into it. Again, they stole your rhythm and called it time management. Time management is not a thing. You cannot manage time. You do not create time. You can only steward the time that you have. But I'm going to break that down today. Okay, so like I said, I talked about last week how they called you lazy so you would never really notice the fact that they had been harvesting your energy. They didn't teach you how to rest. They taught you how to apologize for needing rest. I'm sorry, I just need a break. I'm sorry, I just need a minute. Why are you apologizing for what it is that you need? Huh? Oh, but you've been trained to do that. Got it. They didn't teach you your rhythm. Okay? They taught you to fear your own softness, to fear your bleed, to fear your body's timing. Thank you, my lovey. And now you call your rhythm inconsistent. But here's the truth. You were never inconsistent. You were literally mistimed by design. Okay? So what I want to talk about now is giving you a little bit of the science of this. And like I said, share this with who you need to. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm an energetics and identity mentor. I don't know if I'm going to keep this on YouTube or not, because I'm going to be giving out some real information. So go ahead and share with the amazing visionary leaders that are women, because y'all need to stop operating outside of your design, or y'all going to meet an early demise. Are y'all not looking at these numbers? Are y'all not paying attention to what's happening with us? Oh, you're still worried about men. You're still focused on men. Okay. Well, let's come on back. We need to bring it back to ourselves, okay? The feminine needs to come back to self. If you ever want something to focus on you, learn to focus on yourself. When you focus on yourself, you ever heard that saying that I don't even talk to anybody, I don't even do anything, and I still end up in the mess? Because when you are a mystery, some kind of way you still end up in a mess. And sometimes even when you're in the madness, you're still in a mess. So why not remain a mystery? People gonna talk anyway. People gonna do what they want to do anyway. So understand how to remain in your feminine mystique, because it makes a difference. But let's get into this aspect of time, because time cannot be managed. It can only be stewarded. So let's talk about sacred Ethiopian time versus colonial time. Okay? In the Ethiopian theology, time is not linear. This is why you hear me talk about how there is chronos time and there is kairos time. Your chronos time is your chronological time, your seconds, your minutes, your hours. And I talk about this in a Substack article that I have. You can click the link in the bio to subscribe to the Red Knowledge Tree for that. If I had to describe my Substacks, I would say the Red Knowledge Tree is your light feminine with lessons. It is the teacher. I would say the Black Sanctum is your student. It is your mirror, and it is dark feminine. So go join both, go subscribe to both, or pick the one that aligns with you the most, okay? So anyway, when we're talking about chronos time being your seconds, your minutes, your hours, your chronological time, and then you have kairos time, which is seasonal time, your ups, your downs, your ebbs, your flows, your highs, your lows, right? When you waste chronos time, your chronological time, you struggle to be in position to receive when you're having a high season in kairos time. See, some of you spend too much time in piss poor relationships. And because you spend so much time in those piss poor relationships, when it's actually time for you to be able to meet somebody amazing, you can't, because you got to heal now. Because you wasted so much time in this experience that you can't even recognize or even enjoy that there is an up season happening in your life, because now you have to heal. Okay, so this is what happens when you waste chronos time. So let's get back into it. In Ethiopian theology, time is not linear. Okay, it's sacred, it's rhythmic, and it's intelligent. Very much so like the feminine. Everything in creation moves in cycles. Let me tell you how. See, y'all be looking so hard for a man to love you. But I promise you, if you saw how much your creator loved you, you would see yourself in all of the designs. Let me put you on game of how much the creator loved the feminine and adored the feminine and adores you. So let's get into it. Everything in creation moves in cycles. Want to get into it? The moons, the seasons, the feast, and fertility. The feminine is considered in the entire creation process before the woman actually came to be. In the earth, what are the trees that actually bear fruit? Feminine trees, beloved. Why do you think you see so much pollen around? Because they've dug up all the feminine trees, disrupting natural order. But that's a whole nother conversation. Outside of them wanting to control food and not allow you to have access to abundance. But like I said, I'm not even going to dive deep into that. But understand that the feminine has always been here. Okay? So everything in creation, like I said, it moves in cycles. The moon, the seasons, the feast, and fertility. Ethiopian scripture literally lets you know in Ecclesiastes 3 that to everything there is a season. You understand? Okay? Hi, Lovey. Thank you so much for these gifts. There is a season. And your body, your feminine body, is built on the same temple, right? So menstrual, there's a time to rest and a time to die. See, I'm going to put y'all on game. See, what y'all don't understand is the Bible, the scripture. I won't say the Bible because the Bible, King James Bible, only has 66 books in it. I strongly suggest that people read the oldest scripture, which is the Ethiopian Bible. I talk about it all the time. But it's literally a cheat code. It's a book of codes. The reason why it's very difficult for you to understand, for you to digest, is because you have to literally sit with it. You have to sit with it long enough until it starts to reveal itself to you. You have to treat your time dissecting the scripture as you learning a new language. Because in order for you to be able to have full understanding, you need new eyes. So you're going to have to sit for a second. So I'm going to put you on game when it comes down to Ecclesiastes, how this has to do with your moon cycle as well, that a lot of women have missed. So it says in scripture, of course, Ecclesiastes 3, that to everything there is a season. So your body is built on the same template, whether you realize it or not. When you are in menstrual phase, that is a time to rest and a time to die. I'm going to say that again because I don't think you heard what I said. Your body is built on the same template. So when you are in the menstrual phase of your cycle, meaning when you are bleeding, it is a time to rest and a time to die. You understand? See, this is why back in the day in scripture, when women were on their menstrual, they were in solitude. Because not only were they releasing physically, but they were releasing things spiritually, mentally, emotionally that did not belong, so they did not carry it into the next month. When is the last time that you released on your cycle? If you're going to tell me that you never have, then I want you to think about all of the years since your menstruation has come to you. Okay? Since it has come to you, I want you to think about how long that's been and how long you've been carrying from month to month to month. Stress, drama, trauma, stress, drama, trauma, stress, trauma, drama. You got more STDs than you realize. Stress, trauma, drama. You got a little bit more, you got more STDs than you realize. Because every single month, you have been doing nothing but collecting stress, trauma, and drama. And then you do that over a period of 12 months, and then it becomes a year. So how many years have you been carrying around these STDs? Okay? But let me go ahead and go on. So menstrual phase is a time to rest and a time to die. Follicular phase is a time to plant. Ovulation is a time to gather. See, you really be getting, see the game be sitting right there in the scripture. Y'all just scary. Y'all too trapped in tradition to actually read, too spiritually lazy to dissect. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Because you don't sit with it, because you don't ask, because you don't seek, because you don't knock. You understand? So this is what we need to grasp. Ovulation, a time to gather. Lutu, a time to release. The West, if you live in the West, if you live in the States, you live in the West. The West made your cycle taboo. The West gave you Midol. Instead of teaching you that when you were cramping, that's cold energy within the body, which is why they sell you heating pads. It's so funny how they tricked us into buying any and everything. Something as simple as sugar, right? You go to the store and you buy sugar, but then you go to the store and you buy powdered sugar. But what they don't tell you is that you could just grind up sugar and have powdered sugar. They just make you pay for it. You can actually see what the issue is around your cramps. Because that means that if you're cramping very difficult, we need to look at the liver. Well, why would cold energy be in the liver? Catch this. Anger ruins the liver, okay? Anger, when you give it a foothold, it weakens the liver. And the liver has over 300 functions in the body. So when you are cramping ridiculously, I want you to ask yourself, is that hate for your baby daddy that steep that you would break your body down by allowing his energy to sit in your body to piss you off enough to destroy your own organs? This is why the Most High tells you in scripture not to give anger a foothold, because scientifically anger ruins your liver. Yep. Yeah. Everything, but you too spiritually lazy to sit and read the scripture and get the understanding. Of all things, get an understanding. And you could get an understanding if you would just sit with it long enough, but you're too easily distracted. But you're not easily distracted. You just haven't fine-tuned the skill of focus. Focus is a skill set, beloved. It's a skill set. Okay? So I think somebody asked and said something about absence of period, irregular period. I used to have irregular periods for 21 years. I came into the gate. My menstrual met me irregular, which says a whole lot about how stressed my body was at 11. See, 1 through 10 for me was a bit unstable. It was some things that was going on. Your children pick up your stress. Whether you realize it or not, your children can feel and pick up your stress. So from 11 to 33 and a half, I had an irregular cycle. I did it all. Birth control, all these things, yada, yada, yada. I did all those things, right? And then when I was 20 years old, I'm 41 now. When I was 20 years old, in 2004, they diagnosed me with polycystic ovarian syndrome, right? Nobody was talking about it in 2004. In 2025, I don't have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Well, how is it that you don't have something that they said that you would have for life? Very interesting, isn't it? See, here's the thing that I had to understand when it comes down to your irregular cycle. When your cycle is not coming consistently, that means that something is wrong with your sun clock. And your sun clock is in charge of charging. It's your circadian rhythm clock. And it is the clock of your organs, okay? If we are not having a cycle, something is wrong with our organs. Much like if you are anemic. I know y'all think it's real cute to put these videos about chewing ice. That ain't cute. Your organs are failing. Your organs are failing. That's early organ failure. You think because you walking around? Baby, let me tell you like my mama told me, them years go by fast. Them years go by fast. At 33 and a half, I had a spiritual awakening because my best friend died. And in that spiritual awakening, when I was crawling on the ground, giving the Most High my contrite, broken heart, and wanting to die, the Most High met me there. In the Most High meeting me there, I got to meet myself. And I got to sit with the scripture until it started to reveal itself to me. And when it began to reveal itself to me, I knew how I needed to eat. I knew what I needed to do to get my body together. And within 6 months, and for the last 8 years, my cycle has been coming consistently. And I don't have a cycle over 3 or 4 days, baby. No cramping. None of that. And it was with no birth control. None of the stuff that they said. I literally got rid of the S, the T, and the D. The stress, the trauma, and the drama. And when I began to understand that the stress, the trauma, and the drama was not bigger than me, I began to get control of my impulses. And I began to get in control of myself. And I lost 100 pounds. And a lot of different things just started coming into my space when I began to understand the science of myself. If you are not having a cycle, let me put you on game on what exactly is happening. In order to have a complete cycle, the heart, the liver, the kidneys, thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes, and the spleen must be functioning properly. If you're not having a cycle, one of those are off. And if one is off, it throws all the rest of them off. And it's not just throwing those other organs off, it's throwing the whole system off. And next thing you know, they're telling you that you have hormonal imbalance. That's why you're not having a cycle. So they want to put you on birth control. They want to put you on a false hormone that's stronger than the actual hormone that comes from your body. You understand? That's another trick too. For anyone who's ever taken birth control, you notice how you have the hormone pills for 3 weeks and then you have the sugar pill for 1 week, right? Do you understand that that birth control system is based on the 4 phases of your menstrual cycle? See how they've been using your own game against you and you don't even know. You just think you taking birth control pills. You don't realize what you're actually doing. They built this system around your clock because they know your clock better than you. But you don't know that, so you just take the birth control pill, which throws you completely off hormonally, which even changes your pheromones to the point to where you think you're attracted to somebody that you're not even attracted to. See, it plays tricks on your mind. Y'all don't even understand. You don't even know. But see, society has been knowing these things about you. The West made your cycle taboo. The Ethiopian scripture made it a sacred clock. See, anything the Most High tries to create and do, society or the powers that be, the principalities in darkness, always try to come around it and recreate it or mimic it or tear it up or use it for their own personal gain. But because you're not aware, they just keep playing in your face. So let's get into the 2 clocks, because I talked a little bit about, how this all literally comes from scripture, even your cycles. Like, none of this stuff is you are connected. The law of oneness speaks to how you are connected to everything on this earth. You are Mother Earth. You are the feminine. You understand? You can get it from Amazon. Towards the end, I'm going to get up. I'm going to pause this. And because it's sitting over there on that table, I'm going to show you exactly the one I have. So you can get the exact one that I have. Okay? But let's talk about these 2 clocks real quick, right? So your body runs on 2 clocks, 2 intelligent clocks. Let me tell you something. The Most High is the ultimate architect. Do you understand? Your body has over thousands and thousands of processes and frameworks that it operates under, and it just does without you even being aware of it, unless you feel like something is wrong on the inside. You have no idea. Probably had no idea that your liver had over 300 functions in the body. See, that's why it's terrible when you have fatty liver disease. You understand? See, all of these things are very important, but let's get into these intelligent clocks that the Most High created within us. Because women, we have 2 clocks. Men only have the 1. Okay? The sun clock, which is the clock that we share with men. And see, this is what I'm saying. When you understand the science of yourself, you'll stop expecting men to be women. Y'all be wanting men to be women because y'all don't know yourselves. Because if you knew yourselves, you know what a man is. I ain't even being funny when I say that. That's just real. So, sun clock is your circadian rhythm clock. This is the 24-hour cycle. This is how you can tell a man something on Wednesday and you wake up on Thursday morning and you like, I don't remember what you're talking about. See, they got a reset. See, yeah, we got the 24-hour reset, but we also have a 28 to 35-day reset, which is why they don't understand us. Because they be like, dang, you just switched up. Yeah, because I'm a different woman in this phase. Get into it. See, but you don't know that about yourself, so you think you moody. You let these people say you got PMS. Next, the sun clock, which is the circadian rhythm clock, which I'll be teaching on this on 10/16 in my masterclass. So congratulations to those who have their tickets. And for those who don't have their tickets, what you waiting on? Because why you out here working on a man-made clock that was not created for you is why y'all burn out looking crazy. Okay? So let's get into it. The sun clock is your circadian rhythm clock. It governs your daily energy, your hormones, and your alertness, okay? It tells you when to create, when to move, when to speak, when to slow down. Most women override it with coffee and chaos. Women who come to work with me, they don't need alarm clocks. One of the first things that you realize is that you have a watch time. Your body naturally gets up during its watch time. Your body naturally gets up at the watch time, which is also a combination of your genius zone hours that you probably are not even in tune with. You getting up and you scrolling because you don't understand the dynamics of how you operate. The moon clock, however, is your 28 to 38 5-day clock, which is your menstrual cycle clock, okay? You have the follicular phase, you have the ovulation phase, you have the luteal phase, you have the winter phase. And during those phases, you're supposed to be in different spaces. You're not moody, you're just not in alignment with yourself. Because when you're in follicular, yeah, you initiating. Because when you're in ovulation, yes, you want to be outside. But when you in luteal, you focused on what you need to focus on and you got them boundaries heavy. Because you don't really feel like dealing with nobody. And when it's menstrual, you getting rest. And you're getting your insight because you're releasing consistently. But instead of y'all being in sync with your clocks, You've been taught to operate like a man on Monday, linear, constant, and hyperproductive, which is why a lot of wombs are not working. Let's talk about it. You're working against your design. You ever wonder why one of the symptoms of polycystic ovarian is you become like so hairy, right? You start getting it beard hair, you start getting all that stuff. That's what happens when you work against your feminine design. You working like a man and you start looking like one. You start transforming. You don't realize how much of an alchemist as a woman that you are. You can transform and change into anything. Do you understand? Anything, baby. Thank you for the follow and the likes and the comments. Anything. And of all the things you choose to turn into, you want to turn into a man. That's what happens when you violate yourself. That's what happens when you work against yourself. You literally start developing these features. Get them hormones right, baby. She said, how do I get rid of all this dang hair? Get hormonally aligned. The body will regulate itself. The body is an intelligent vessel. It is so intelligent that it does everything within its power to try to protect you from dying every doggone day. And that's the truth. So much so to when you eat processed food, your body is so protective of you, even though it don't recognize the program of processed food, because food is a program. If you eat carrots, the beta carotene is going to go to that liver and it's going to make sure that blood is fresh and it's doing what it needs to do. And it's going to improve your eyes. Why? Because the liver supplies nourishing blood to the eyes, which is why when diabetics start having issues with the eyes, your liver is screaming. But when you eat processed food, because you eat McDonald's every day and you eat hot chips and you eat crap every single day, the body still wants to protect you. The body is still created to love on you and still try to protect you, so it starts to store the processed food in your gut. Now you got all this visceral fat because it can't put it nowhere else, because it's going to be even more unsafe. If it put it anywhere else, it's going to put it in that belly. Huh? The body protects you. Is designed to protect. Y'all let these folks trick you even to believing in such a thing as a heart attack. The heart defends. Do you understand that? Go ask your nurse friends or your doctor friends who come and are my clients. My clients range from doctors, attorneys, nurses, sex workers, social workers, therapists, all your VPs of companies. Go ask your doctor friends. Go ask your doctor friends, is your heart a muscle, or does your heart have a brain of its own? The heart does what it says, what the brain says to do, what it's told to do, and it's told to fight. And they told you it's a heart attack. No, the heart is defending itself from everything that has came against the body, to the point to where it's going to stop fighting if you do too much. Now we have heart attacks. What's the number one disease that women are out here? Ain't it heart disease? Aren't we told to guard our heart above everything else because from it flows life, but yet you continue to be in toxic relationships because you don't understand time? You don't understand how you operate? I'm just saying. Instead of you being in sync with these clocks, you've been taught to operate like a man on Monday. Linear, constant, hyperproductive, misaligned, extracted, and empty. This is why y'all are exhausted. Yeah, you got the money, but you can't even enjoy it because you're so exhausted. You really hate your life behind closed doors, while everyone is putting you on pedestals, telling you how pretty you are, how amazing you are, how great you are, how much of an inspiration you are. Behind closed doors, you having anxiety attacks. Don't play with me because I already know. Don't play with me, beloved, because I already know. Okay? So let's get into the betrayal and the systematic gaslighting that has happened in society. Let's talk about it. You launch when your hormones are crashing. You lead when your energy is leaking. You force execution when your body wants to retreat. And then you blame yourself. You're not behind. You're just in the wrong phase. But because you don't understand that aspect of yourself, you think that you're moody, you think something is wrong with you, you think you're nuts, and you're really, really not. You're just not in alignment with your rhythm. And that's the truth, because they didn't teach you that. They didn't teach you that, but they tricked you into doing things by using that. You should be offended. You should be pissed. But instead of you taking that anger and advocating for with people who don't give a damn about you, because they're not going to change none of the stuff that I'm telling you, please take this and transmute that energy into transforming your life, breaking out of that matrix, breaking out of that system. But you can't do that if you don't know the truth. Here's the wildest part about all the fact that you're not behind, you're in the wrong phase. The wildest part about this life experience in society is that they've studied this. They've studied this for years. That's why they hire so many women at corporations. Because if one is down, we have a million other ones. They understand the connection in our brains when we have the creative phase in our cycle. They understand when we get more insight. They understand all of these things and plan you with it. They studied this. They mapped your hormones. They tracked your power windows, which are your phases of your cycle. That's how you even have birth control pills. Y'all know, nobody sat in the office and asked, exactly, what are these pills like? What is this system? Nobody asked that. Nobody asked that. They monetized your magnetism and then told you to be consistent. Told you that this isn't a hustle issue, because it's not a hustle issue. It's a biological sabotage system. That's why they want you to have more babies. Give us more. Give us more. Now I'm going to tell you 3 ways that you can shift your time today by the things that I'm saying, okay? Number 1, track your power windows. How much can I do? Ask yourself, what does my body want me to do right now during each phase? Okay? You are not chaotic. You are seasonal. Stop trying to be linear. That's why even these fake timelines y'all on, these fake timelines that y'all are on with yourselves, I have to have this by this. I have to have this by this. Hey, Joseph, I have to have this by this. You need to be asking, where did this come from? And is this even true? Y'all will sit up and down and tell people about the story of Sarah and how she had this baby at 75 and all this and all that. But y'all will let people tell y'all, as soon as you turn 33, you better hurry up and have some babies. Meanwhile, there's countless research out here talking about how women in their 40s are having babies, and women are having babies later and later because they want to make sure that they are full. But you letting these people trick you with these fake timelines, then sold you into a system making you take your eggs out and freeze. They finding more ways to take from you. They find more ways to take from you, because one thing a woman gonna do is spend their money. And if you ever want to sell to women, all you ever have to do is sell to their weak emotions, because the ones who are consumed by their emotions will always buy in. This is why you impulsively buy. This is why you impulsively eat. This is why you impulsively jump into bed. See, all these things are rooted in your energetics and them understanding you better than you understand yourself. Shoot me a DM, love, and I have to see if that aligns. But let me get into these shifts again. 3 ways you can shift that time is: number 1, track your power windows. Okay? Number 2, respect your hormonal weekends. In Ethiopian text and scripture, time is measured in 7s. Do you notice that? 7 days. Pay attention. So your cycle is also as well. So your body expects to rest during luteal and menstruation. So treat your bleed week like a Sabbath, not a punishment. See, society has tricked you into thinking, oh my God, my period is coming. They trick y'all the same way they tricked y'all into believing that you should hate jury duty. Why did y'all let people trick y'all into thinking that you need to hate jury duty and hate your period? Hating jury duty stops you from understanding the legal system that you get your emotional tail on this app and cry about every time something happens with one of us, but you don't know nothing. You don't know none of the language. You don't know the statutes. You don't know nothing. But you trying, I gotta get out of jury duty. I done heard so much. You ain't even been there. You never even been there. I was in jury duty. I was actually on a jury. One of the best things I could have done. Because I'm not emotional when I hear a verdict. Because I understand that it is responsibility of the prosecutor to prove their case. And when you get back there as a juror, if the evidence ain't lining up, if it ain't lining up with what's on that paper, with them statutes and what it's supposed to be, you cannot say guilty. See, y'all be too in y'all feelings. And your feelings are too fickle to lead your life. Ask yourself, if you don't believe me, think about the last time you hurried up into bed with somebody. Your feelings are too fickle. Stop allowing people to paint this false narrative in your mind about your periods, about jury duty, about other countries, about anything. Let me tell you something. If you don't hear nothing I'm telling you, you better hear what I'm telling you right now. Control is the currency of illusion. We live in a society of illusions. Illusions that make you feel like all these other things are going on and all these things are true so that you can be controlled. Control is the currency of illusions. And if you don't believe me, the last man that sold you a dream, he had you under his thumb, didn't he? Because you believe the dream, you believe the illusion. See, this is how they say things like, women you don't really have to lie to a lot of women. Women will lie to themselves when they really want you. Why? Because it's the illusion. Control is the currency of illusions. So anytime you are under the illusion of something or someone, know who is your master. And if someone else is your master, that means that you are not a master of self. And if you are not a master of self, then someone else is commanding your day every single day, baby. And I hate it for you. Because I would never want anyone to be in control of me other than myself. Let's get into the next space of it. Number 3, build your business on your biology. Now, this is how my clients come to me and make more money. I have one client that's almost at $1 million. And she still uses the formula to this day that we talk about, that I taught her in regard to building your business around your biology. What you have to understand is that if your marketing, your meals, and your movement, and your money were all scheduled, or what if they were all scheduled based on your hormonal timeline? Okay? So, not your anxiety, not your planner, not your coaching funnel or map, okay? But you at your highest clarity, softness, and capacity. Okay? So that's what matters. I'm trying to build my business on practicals that works for me. That's understandable. It sounds like systems. This is a system. This is your authentic system. So, though I understand, the practicals, I'm a very practical individual and I break things down to a practical level. But in order to do that, it requires systems. So this system gets me to be able to be in that type of space because I understand when I'm at my best, when I'm not at my best, right? When I can show up. And when I obey and listen and operate according to the system, I see great results from that. Okay? So with the 3 shifts that we talked about, tracking your power windows, respecting hormonal windows, building your business based on your biology, this is exactly what we're going to be talking about on the 16th in the Rhythmic Woman Masterclass. In the Rhythmic Woman Masterclass is where you're going to learn all of these things if you do not know how to do them. You're going to learn, number 1, your sun clock, how the science behind your daily hormone rhythms, how your energy, your attention, and your clarity shift across the day. Okay? When to work, when to move, when to rest, when to leave it alone. You're going to learn all about the sun clock. You're also going to learn about the moon clock, your 4 hormone-driven phases of your monthly power, when your body is built for launching versus resting. Okay? How to time your marketing, your nourishment, your workouts, your visibility, and your strategy based on what your cycle is actually doing. You're also going to learn how to sync both of these cycles, okay? Not just Oh, I'm gonna be do this with the fog and all that. No, no, no. No more pushing through the fog. Just hormonal precision, emotional alignment, and full rhythm integrity. I am teaching you a system that is going to change your life. The value of this masterclass, most definitely, is about 1,500 because I'm teaching you a skill set that is not a skill set, I'm teaching you to come back into your body in a way that is going to prevent you from burning out. Society's goal is to burn you the hell out. Don't you see that? They want to burn you out spiritually. They want to burn you out mentally. They want to burn you out emotionally so that you act out physically, and then they can make you a physical slave. You need to pay attention. This crash out season, all the things that they're trying to do, they're setting things up for you to crash out. That's why they keep piling stuff on your head. But if you don't know how to guard your gates, then you're in trouble. If you don't know how to guard your heart above everything else because from it flows life, then you're in trouble. If you're not in tune with your clocks, then you're in trouble. Yes, this can be taught to a young girl. The client that I have that's actually almost at 1 million taught her 14-year-old daughter this, and she knows how to, no, she's not 14 now. Now she's a senior in high school. She taught her this at 14. And now she knows how to use it, and she's a senior about to get ready to go on to college. So absolutely, your daughter should 100% know this information, because what you will do is position her in a space that you couldn't be positioned in, which is going to give her a leg up that you do not even understand yet until she becomes an adult. Okay? So most definitely. The class itself is, the value is $1,500, but the class itself is $297. You get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. What else are you going to learn in this class? I want to make sure I gave y'all everything, because I don't think I did. I think I stopped. No, that was basically it. So you're going to get all of that. You click the link in the bio to be able to get access to that. It's $297. You get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. You need to know your clocks, y'all. I'm not even kidding. I don't care about, truly, I'm not here for you to give me no money, and it ain't even on that, because I'm going to tell you why. The Most High takes care of me. I am here to be obedient. And what I'm being told right now is that women need to be in tune with their rhythm, because there's a bigger plan to throw you completely out of rhythm. And if you're not rooted and you're not regulated, I feel terrible for you for what's coming, because you're not going to be able to catch your breath. They don't care. They never care. They're never going to care. That's why your body is a temple. You are responsible for that. That's why you are the one who is supposed to steward your time, your energy, your attention, and your money properly, because you are the value. Society's job is to convince you that you lack value so that you act and live beneath your actual birthright. And a lot of you submit to that because you do not understand yourself, your clocks. You cannot work like men. They tricked you. You think it's a coincidence all these women have all these womb issues right now? Don't piss me off. They know exactly what they've been doing. They had the whole teen pregnancy epidemic. See, I'm a millennial, so I'm 41, right? So anybody who's a millennial already know what time it is. They was heavy on, when we were growing up, there was Smex Ed. Baby, they were showing you the most horrific pictures and all those things. And there was all these things like teen pregnancy this, teen pregnancy that. And you know what was happening? You know what parents were doing to prevent teen pregnancy? They was putting their teens on birth control. They was putting their teens on birth control. They was putting their teens on birth control. Putting them on Depo. When Depo positions you to lose bone mass. You understand? Lose teeth. You understand? And now you have all these women that are around here, and they have fibroids, and they have all these things, and y'all ain't even thought about how they push that agenda real quick. Oh, the teen pregnancy, this and that. I remember when they pushed the HPV vaccine. I remember when it first came out, and they were pushing it all the way down to your 14-year-old when it first came out. Yeah, because you want to get it before, you get to like 22. It's like one shot, and then it's like another shot. And then, you want... When I tell you, the playing in your face be so crazy. The playing in our faces be real crazy. The fact that we not catching it, though, is the problem. You understand? It's the problem. Nobody can play you. Hear what I'm telling you now. Nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you ain't paying attention. Even the demon, even demonic presence has to ask for permission. They have to have an access point. See, thank you, Lovey. Y'all, the demon must have jumped. No, let me tell you something. Go back and read inscription. Go back and read inscription. When have you ever seen a demon jump on something like it's just jumping without an access point? Even when the Messiah put the demons in the pigs and the pigs ran into the, they need an access point. They need a host. They need somebody who's not guarding their gates. You understand? That's what this is. These people don't care about you, baby. Girl, don't even get me started on that. This shot. I listen, and I'm not a person who is a conspiracy theorist and all this. I look at the truth. And the record and the truth shows they ain't never cared about us. Y'all didn't believe Michael Jackson when he came out with the song 30 years ago. Song's still relevant. They still don't care. As long as you are at the bottom and you are ignorant, you will forever be experimented on. You will forever be a project. Understand this. They bank and bet on your ignorance and not knowing yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, you will live beneath your value, which is why you accept any and everything. Why is it that when we go to a 9-to-5 and to a corporate system, you are so eager to accept the salary without even negotiating? You should negotiate everything. Baby, I negotiate even the first day. Who are you talking to? Hey, I was wondering if we can go, if you wanted to catch a movie. Actually, I prefer outdoor activities. I love horseback riding. I love golf. I love, y'all just let people give y'all anything. And you know why you let people give you anything? Because you're just so happy to be chosen. You have the same, see, the pick-me energy didn't start in relationships. It started with the performance in schools. It started with the performance in college. It started with the performance for you going and perform for your first job. You just happen to take that also as well into your relationships. How you do one thing is how you do all things. If you don't negotiate a salary, don't talk to me about how you negotiate the terms in your relationships. Girl, who you talking to? Play with somebody else, niece. Play with somebody else, please. Because I'm not the one for that one. We have got to stop lying. And one way that we stop lying is coming back into our bodies. Coming back into ourselves, okay? And this class on the 16th that I'm having, the Rhythmic Woman is going to put you back into your body, put you back into yourself. You've got to know your clocks. Y'all, I'm going to be real careful when I say this, but understand, more hospitals are going to close. If you don't take charge of your health, your circadian rhythm clock, your organs, and your moon clock, and you solely put it in the hands of people that continue to poison you and lie to you and take things from you that will keep you in the clear, that's very naive. That's very naive. You think people are having issues with health insurance right now? I'm trying to tell y'all something without telling y'all something. I'm hosting this class because it's going to save some women's lives. You understand? Because they're gonna start denying more and more and more and more and more of these fibroid surgeries. They're gonna start denying more and more and more of these things. And please get yourself in rhythm. Even if you don't come to class with me, baby. Please get yourself in rhythm. You can click the link in the bio to get access to the Rhythmic Woman. Like I said, it's $297. You get a recliner, firm, and afterpay. She said, and stop having baby in these hospitals too, child. Now, I'm going to tell you something even with that, too. I agree with that. I'm not here to tell nobody where they need to have babies, but one thing I am going to say is they already don't listen to us. You understand? They already don't listen to us in these hospitals, but it doesn't help when we go into these hospitals and we already not healthy. Stop bringing babies in this life and you ain't made sure that body is healthy to carry. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Stop doing that. Stop doing that. If you know your body is not healthy, You understand? Stop positioning yourself for early demise. Let me put you on game. Do you understand when you get pregnant, your heart enlarges? Do you understand that women have lost teeth? Do you understand women be... And you want to lay down and have a rotten seed? See, that's what I'm saying. Why would you even poison your lineage with... A lot of these men don't deserve a lineage. And if we were living in survival of the fittest, they wouldn't have babies. Do you understand what I'm telling you? They wouldn't be able to have them because they wouldn't be able to access, because they lack what is necessary. Stop poisoning. Stop. I'm going to say this, and I'm saying it with sensitivity, but I'm saying it with honesty. You understand? Stop poisoning your womb and positioning yourself to possibly die on the table with people who are not lineage worthy. Don't you perverse your womb and possibly have your life gone. Because you already know they don't care about us. You already know this. Stop doing this. Get in tune with your clocks and stop telling men about your menstrual clock. Y'all be pissing me off with that. Men do not talk about it. Talk about it. Hey, lovey. Absolutely get them hormones tested. Like, stop. We have got to stop. I'm serious. Like, at some point, you just got to wake up. I would, man, perversing your lineage to be positioned to have an early demise, trying to bring life into this world when pregnancy is the closest you are to death, is crazy as hell. It's crazy as hell. Stop telling them about when your phases are. I just want him to take care of me and be able to support me when I'm on my cycle. Well, tell him when you're on your cycle. Why do you need to tell him about the other three phases? Because when you realize, or if there's ever a scenario that that person switches up on you, they know exactly how to play with you. Let me tell you a story that I heard on a radio station that I thought was very interesting. It was a man and his wife at the time. He didn't like the way she cleaned up, right? And so he was telling her he didn't want to invite anybody over because he didn't like the way she cleaned up, and he liked his friends, the way his friend's wife kept her house and all of this and all that. And it really hurt her feelings, right? It hurt her feelings so bad that she went into the front room and she started scrubbing this spot that had been in the floor for a long time. And she was just scrubbing. And that man said, because he wrote a letter into the radio station, he said for a second when he was watching her, he said, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "What does it look like I'm doing?" She's crying, she's upset. You know, he said all that stuff. And you know what he said? He said, "For 1 second, I felt bad until I remembered." Hold tight, there's more. "I felt bad until I remembered that she told me when we first started dating that when she was in high school, she had to be admitted to a psych hospital." Stop telling these folks your business. You understand? Stop telling these folks your business. So he's like, "She told me she was in a mental hospital when she was 16, and how when she was in a mental hospital, every time she got anxious or whatever, they had to clean their rooms and do this and do that." And do you know he started making her anxious on purpose? He knew that about her, and he started making her anxious on purpose so that she could clean a damn house. And every time, the day after that scenario happened, he told her while she was at work that he was watching Corn, and it made her feel so bad. She cleaned the entire kitchen. She cleaned the house like she never did before in her life. And he kept continuing to do that to her until his coworkers came over one day. It was like, "Oh my goodness, this is so spotless. Like, how do you train your wife to be like this?" And he was like, "Oh, I trained her." And they were like, "Well, what did you do?" And he told them what he was doing, and they were disgusted. Shout out to those men, okay? Shout out to those men, because they were disgusted. They told him, number one, "I'm very disgusted at the fact that you were idolizing my wife and the way she cleans. That's terrible. You should not be doing that. And number two, I think it's disgusting what you're doing to your wife." And he was writing to the radio station. He didn't know what he needed to do. Was it really that bad? But y'all want to tell them about your menstrual cycle phases. Y'all want to tell them your deepest, darkest trauma instead of dealing with it. Because, and I understand why you feel like you do this. You do this because you think if you tell them that they're not going to do it, they're going to take it up a notch. You understand? Because let me put you on game on something that you don't realize when you are running your doggone mouth. Two things that you need to remember when you allow people to mistreat you in different things. I'm going to put you on game. When you allow someone to violate you so massively to the point to where it leaves an emotional memory to where you cannot stop talking about it, and it's just so much and it's so heavy, right? And you go and you tell this man, okay? And you go and you tell him all about the scenario and what happened. What ends up happening subconsciously, he don't even want to do this. I'm telling you the truth. See, because I know the feminine, I studied the masculine, and I always talking to him. So they don't even want to do this, but this happens. Subconsciously, they lose respect for you. Subconsciously, they lose respect for you because in their mind, they have you on this pedestal when they first meet you. Okay? They have you on this pedestal when they first meet you. And when you begin to tell them about how you countlessly allow people to continue to disrespect you, subconsciously, they start losing respect for you. And whether they want to or not, eventually they're going to join the party in disrespecting you because that's a pattern that you have set forth. You understand? And you're vocal about the pattern. And you're vocal about the pattern because you believe it's going to make him shift. And when in reality, it's not. So he's going to take it up a notch. Let me tell you another way that this happens that a lot of women don't really pay attention to. Because, see, you have to understand neuroplasticity. See, I'm a nerd. So all the stuff I'm telling you is rooted in scripture, backed up by science, and you know what I'm saying? And number one, you're not supposed to put your trust in anyone, 100% in anyone, because we are all human beings. You are only supposed to trust and rely on the one that created you. I don't know why I gave you all of my trust. Why did you do that? Because at the end of the day, we're human beings. But anywho, wait, I lost my train of thought. What I say right before that, y'all? Because, I got it. So when you're with someone, and they betray you. And I'm talking about they betray you to the point to where you're like, oh my God, I'm just so crushed. I'm just, all that, right? And you allow them to stay. I guarantee you they're going to double down on what they did. I guarantee they're going to double down on what happened if you let them go. Because let me tell you something, if you do not know, I'm going to put you on game. When you allow someone to betray you and there is no cost, there is no consequence that's heavy. You understand? They're bound to do it again because there is no emotional memory that associates pain with me doing this again. It's just you're allowing me to do it again. So eventually I'm going to do it again. When someone betrays you to the point to where you know truly that you can't move on, it's best for you to cut ties, because what you are doing is sitting around and waiting for the next experience to slap you in the face. But again, this is what happens when you're not in tune with your rhythm, because a woman who is in tune with her rhythm is always on time, especially when it's time to leave. Because she understands her value. Being a woman in rhythm means you understand your value and you protect what's valuable. Just like when you go to the jewelry store, the real jewelry is in the back under lock and key, not the crap that's in the front for the robbers to come and take. It's protected. Why? Because the value is known. When you don't associate a cost or a consequence when people playing with you, one that they don't forget, and I'm not talking about the little stupid stuff that people be doing. Let me go screw his home. I ain't talking about none of that. I'm talking about no access. See, y'all be trying to go do stuff like screw their homeboy, screw their daddy, which is dumb. Because you picking up whatever they homeboy and their daddy putting down in your womb, which is crazy. Why would you just let anybody in your womb, your pathway, that where life comes from, just to prove a point to a man? And y'all be swearing y'all not male-centered. But hold tight. So, yes, they most definitely do double down. When you are in a space and you are dealing with a man or anyone and there is no cost, there's always going to be a similar scenario that is going to come into play. For example, and people may feel how they feel about this, but I'll just say this like this. I personally believe if A woman enters into a marriage, and it's a marriage where it's a lot of resources and a lot of money. That man has a lot of options. So because he has a lot of options, there's a lot more temptation. There's other things. I would have a clause, if I were going to marry him, I would have a clause in there that if he cheated, the first time he cheated, I want 100,000. See, if you do it again, I want 5, and I'm gonna be out. You understand? Because when you have that clear, see, it's going to make them think. And even if they cross the line the first time, they don't have to think about what they're going to have to pay before they do it again. They either going to try to be real careful. Okay? They're either going to try to be real careful about it, which you can't be careful, baby, because I asked the Most High to reveal everything to me. So you're not going to be able to trick me with the foolishness. So I'm not even worried about it. So you might, try to get better at it the next go round. But when you get caught, I want my 5 and I'm out. See, you can't cheat on me, baby. See, this is my mindset. You can't never cheat on me, sweetheart. You can cheat yourself out of experiencing me. I am a first-class experience. I am the daughter of the Most High. I was created in the likeness and the image of the Most High. And I have dominion, which means I have my own lane, baby. I ain't got to sit up here with you and deal with this. Plus, I got creative and witty inventions in my very being, which means I will never be broke as long as I'm tapped in. Them gifts gonna make room for me. Why would I sit up here and deal with that? But should you feel like you gonna play with me, it's gonna cost you. It's either gonna cost you that income or it's gonna cost you access. But you gonna remember. You gonna remember in your subconscious mind, man, when it come to her, it's, yeah. That's what you do. See, when there's no cost involved, and it don't always have to be money. Like I said, it could be access. Y'all don't want, if you can't get the money, why you can't cut them off and get access and stop the access? Because they take your access, it's still available. So why are you doing that if you're done? So again, you train people on how to treat you. So whether you realize it or not, you are subconsciously training people to treat you well or to treat you poorly. All of it is based on your free will and how you feel about yourself at the end of the day. So these are the things that women have to think about. When you are out of rhythm, you make decisions like that. When you are out of rhythm, you put people before you. When you are out of rhythm, you allow people to play with you and still stay in positions in your life because you're not in rhythm with yourself. And a woman that's not in rhythm with herself does not value herself. And a woman who does not value herself does not know herself. And a woman who does not know herself has not sat with herself. It's October. Everybody talking about all these scary movies. Your mind is a scary movie. You'll watch scary movies all day long, but won't sit alone with your own mind and hear your own thoughts. Your thoughts, your mind is the real scary movie. Some of y'all don't even need to watch nothing scary in October. You need to sit with yourself. But if you want to come out of that and you want to get in rhythm, you know where to find me. Click the link in the bio. Come to class on the 16th. I told women that the first 10 women, my first 10 tickets aren't gone. Thank you, Lovey. But the first 10 women also get the cycle syncing course for free. That course is $1,500 value and it's $333. So you get two. You get the Masterclass and you get the 6-week system that puts you hormonally back in balance and increases your creativity and amplifies your creativity. So that is what you get for $297. You get those two things. You get the 6-week that's going to support you in getting them hormones right, and you get to come to class to understand your clocks, okay, and how they work and how to get in sync with them. What questions do you guys have for me? I can take a few questions and then I got to skedaddle because I have to go do something for my mommy. But what questions do you guys have for me? I'll take them now. Click the link in the bio to get access to any of my Substacks or any of my other courses or anything like that. My Substacks are divided into two categories. It is the light feminine, which is the red knowledge tree. You get the teacher perspective of me, and then there's the black sanctum. That is not the teacher aspect of me. It is the student aspect of me. It is the hard lessons I had to learn. It is, if you still in that space, you gonna relate, okay? Because I'm really talking extremely raw, dark feminine. So yeah, really exciting. Yes, I'm gonna show you the Bible. I'm gonna pause it in just a second so you can see it. Are the classes self-paced? So the class that we're having on the 16th is live. It is live. The 297 class is live. It's going to be 90 minutes. You're going to be able to ask me all the questions you want. Okay, is going to be extremely powerful because I want women to be in tune with their rhythm. Y'all not, I'm telling y'all, a lot of women not gonna make it. I'm just being honest. This is not. Okay. The other ones are self-paced. So you'll be able to look at that. Hi, Lovey. So you'll be able to go through those on your own time. And so it'll be there to be able to support you. But the Harmony in 6 program, which is basically what you're getting, the Harmony in 6 program is a program that supported my client in healing hormonal acne. She had hormonal acne 8 months, like for 8 months after her mom died, and she got in the program and it automatically cleared. Not too long after being in the program. It's a lot of stuff we teach you. We teach you how to sync with your cycle. We teach you specifically like how your emotions impact your cycle. We teach you all of those different things in the Harmony in 6 coursework that you get. So it's very powerful. If you're struggling creatively, it supports you in understanding the connection between your brain, your pituitary gland, and your ovaries, so that you learn how to use it to make money, because you can. Okay, my client cracks jokes all the time and says, I manifest on my moon cycle. Yeah, because the method that I've taught her on how to be able to do it. And like I said, you learn all of this in Harmony in 6, and like I said, the first 10 women who get tickets, they automatically get access to Harmony in 6. You get an email, you can log in, you can go in and on your own time. If you want to do it after class and all that, you good. Okay, so yeah. But click the link in the bio to get access to class. It's $297. Let me pause this real quick so I can show you the Ethiopian Bible so you can go and get it for yourself. I normally have a link. I don't think I have a link in my TikTok shop for it, but I know you can get it off Amazon for sure. And I don't have the Amazon thing set up on my thing. But hold on, let me grab it real quick. I'm gonna pause this and then I'm gonna grab it so y'all can see. If there are any other questions, drop those questions and I'll answer. Okay, so this is the Ethiopian Bible that I use and that I read. Okay, the 88 books. The King James Version of the Bible only has about 66 books. I am a person who, I need everything. And I know this ain't even all of everything because a lot of other stuff is hidden in a certain place that I ain't even finna get into for they block my video. But if Genesis don't make sense to you, read the book Enoch with Genesis, okay? So it's a lot that you can learn here. Sit with it, dissect. It is very, 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 very powerful and very useful. So that's the Ethiopian Bible I use. Any other questions before I get ready to go? And congratulations to those who grabbed their tickets. For those of you who grabbed your tickets, you're going to get your video access and everything to Harmony in 6 this evening. So you'll be able to log in and get started there if you want to get started there. Or if you want to wait until the 16th to start after class, you can do that then. If you start Harmony in 6 now, it's not going to bother you or impact you if you start it now and then wait, because what you're specifically focusing on and learning in class is about those clocks, how to be in tune with those clocks, how to be able to utilize those clocks so you can thrive. Because I'm telling you, they don't want y'all to thrive. They want y'all to survive and be in survival mode. And you being in rhythm is going to be the difference between you rising above and, you know, positioning yourself for forward progress, or you positioning yourself for poverty. I'm just going to tell you the truth. That's the best way I can describe it, okay? I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to get off here. Click the link in the bio, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think I am going to put this on YouTube, but it may be on there just for a little bit. So click the link in the bio to subscribe to my YouTube channel and everything else. All right, y'all, I'm gone. Y'all have an amazing, amazing Magnetic Monday, amazing Manna Monday. It is my prayer that something here, you know, edified you and got you right, because it's time to get right. And not necessarily, yes, in the ways that people say, but it's time to get right, because these systems are collapsing. And if you are sick and you got womb issue, baby, you the first one they experiment on. I'm not even kidding. So, but anywho, y'all have an excellent, excellent day. I will talk to y'all soon. Peace out.